My new thing fits in a clock, breaks in a car, pulls on my brain. Are you ready to see? This is my new thing. Are you ready to see? This thing is my new thing. Shyness will show, excitement will glow. I'm sharing this thing. That thing is my new thing.
Hey folks, it's comedian Dan Wilbur.
And comedian Zach Sims. And guess what you're listening to? It's My New Thing.
That's right. It's a podcast where we explore our bodies and our souls and every new hobby that we've had in our lives.
And if you are exploring your body while listening to the show, let us know.
Let us know.
Honestly, that would be kind of nice to know. It would be interesting.
Email the details.
Sure. Well, nothing.
To me.
Doesn't have to be pornographic.
No, just what you did.
And also, by the way, if you explore your body and find a lump, get that checked out.
That's right. That's what my doctor told me to do today. She also said, stop doing what your thing is, which is masturbation. So let's talk about it, folks.
That's going to be episode 60 of this.
We're
It's
out
the-
of stuff.
Yeah.
Scraping the bottom of the barrel.
You know, I just discovered this new thing. I'm pleasuring myself, and I got to tell you, I love it. And we'll be like, what would you, if somebody wanted to get into masturbation, what would you recommend? Would it be pornography or going on a bus? But Dan, we're not here to talk about that this episode. No, we still have ideas. Now, and you might have an idea right now.
Well, I was just going to say we had the great J.L. Cauvin, Trump impersonator and a hilarious comedian.
Mm-hmm.
He did our show. He did our podcast, and we owe him a great debt for coming and talking to us about hockey. But I wanted to tell you about my new thing,
Sure.
which is less manly than hockey, but in a way, boyish, much like my good looks. So I got one of these. The company is called Anbernic. This is my new thing.
Say what now?
Anbernic. I think that's how you say
Is
it.
it Dutch?
Yeah. No, I don't know. They're like some of their manufacturing is in America. Some of it's in China. It's definitely not legal fully.
Sure.
They sell these little game systems.
Would you say
advertised?
Would you say barely legal?
Barely legal.
throw that out
Well,
there.
I'll get into that. I got a barely legal video game system, which is just perfect for this podcast because I think this whole thing will just be a list of what Dan was doing during his midlife crisis. Each week. Well, let's check in with Dan. Oh, records? I got a $1 record yesterday, and it made my mood better. Oh, I tried Lamictal. You guys got to get on this. So this week, really last month, I got another gaming system that has vintage games on it so that I can go back and play the original Pokemon for about 20 minutes before falling asleep and forget about everything that I have to do the next day.
Sure.
Because there's Pokemon to catch. You know, I need a sand shrew. You never played a Pokemon?
No, did you like Pokemon as a kid?
I did. And I was actually, and this is, you're going to roll your eyes once again at me.
Sure.
My cousin went to Japan when I was like 6, and I was so jealous. And he came back and he's like, there's going to be this thing. It's called Pocket Monsters. It's going to take over the world. He didn't sound like that. He sounded way cooler. And he told me about Pikachu evolving into Raichu, and he gave me a doll, and he was like, next year, when Pokemon comes on here, you're going to shit. And I was like, I'm so excited. And he was right. It took over the world.
Well, a couple of things.
Fourth graders.
I'm, first of all, did not know that it was stood for Pocket Monsters until this very
Yeah.
moment.
I think there was some legal issue.
And B, it is funny that he's like coming from the new world
Yes.
to like spread the word, and the fact that someone explaining that Pikachu turns into Raichu 5 weeks later would be a real way to get the shit kicked out of you, I imagine. Oh, guys, it's the coolest thing.
Well, I do like him returning from the East, like Marco Polo.
Absolutely.
And instead of having spices, he's like, there's going to be a little video game that ruins your life multiple times.
Did you see the movie? The
No.
first one, at least. I saw the first one in the theater. I remember.
I saw Detective Pikachu and it was pretty good.
Now that was a romp.
That was a romp.
That was a good time
So
at the theater.
I didn't even want to tell you about Pikachu or Pokemon. I wanted to tell you about a game that maybe you've heard of but haven't experienced, and it's just a new obsession because I'm going to play it until I beat it, and it's called Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. And the reason I need to tell you about
First
this,
off, great time to get into Michael Jackson.
great time. All right, he's dead. This is a stolen video game,
There
so
you
I
go.
didn't actually help his estate. Please don't arrest me. Michael Jackson's estate. They're looking after all those things, all those people suing them.
Wait, there's a sad man in Long Island playing in our game illegally.
I know those documentaries came out, but this is worse. So I just want to explain it to people listening because you will think I'm describing a dream, but it was a game where Michael Jackson music plays in 16-bit form. This was for the Sega Genesis. I think there was an arcade version too. And Michael Jackson spins around and Smooth Criminal plays.
Oh.
He throws like a quarter into the jukebox. And if you hit the up button, he does the, oh, and for no reason.
Sure.
And then you walk around punching, little stars come out of your hands that make it sparkle, as he would say. You make it sparkle, and these gangsters who are drawing guns in like a pool hall get knocked away every time that you try to punch them. And then what you're supposed to do is find these little girls with pigtails
Oh my God, Dan.
and touch them.
Oh, Dan.
Touch them, and they go, Michael! And then they run away. And that's what you have to do. You have to save these little girls.
Now, does Macaulay Culkin show up at any
No,
time?
but it sort of looks like if Macaulay Culkin were a girl.
Sure.
So it is upsetting. And then the monkey's in there at some point.
The monkey does show
The monkey points you to where the boss battles are. There's a thriller level. If you hold a certain button down, all of the enemies come and dance and do the lean with you, and then they die. And you're like, wow, this is a great game. And I'm just sharing this with everyone just so you know it exists, that there are games out there lost to time.
I was personally more into the Prince video game where he just finger blasts a lot of ladies. And
And he just keeps going, oh.
and everybody,
Same
unlike the Michael Jackson game, everybody likes it.
And everyone's of age. Is the big thing.
I was not, whatever, but I am more of a Prince guy, and I do take that as a point of pride.
I hate to tell you, I didn't know about Prince until much later.
Week and a half ago?
Obsessed with Michael Jackson.
I was an
Obsessed.
MC Hammer guy.
Oh, yeah.
Loved Hammer. My parents actually got me to join the choir in church because they told me MC Hammer was in the choir in his church. And loved the cartoon, loved all Hammer. No Michael Jackson really at all. And then later in life, I got into Prince. Now, here's a Prince thing, and I'm not somebody who likes to make fun of lyrics very often, but I love Little Red Corvette.
Yep.
Probably my favorite Prince song.
Great song.
What a banger.
Yep.
And it's about a guy who's out with a lady and is starting to realize that maybe she's a little experienced. Maybe he has a little bit more. And there's a lyric in that song where he goes, I guess I should have known she had a pocket full of horses, Trojans, some of them used.
Oh.
Just like, yeah, Prince. I guess if she's hanging out with used condoms in her pocket, she might be a little loose.
No.
There's a chance.
I'm saving that for later.
Sure.
She said.
She's saving it for marriage.
She's saving the condom.
Then she lights them ablaze. And then all the little sperms go up, fly up into the ether. That's how the conservatives think abortions work. But my new thing is not so much, it's more of a journey. It's basically, I had given up on the Criterion Channel. I had taken a little break, but I just couldn't quit it. And I had to sign back on because there's all these Robert Altman films. Oh, yeah. And I'm having the time of my life watching the film work of Robert Altman, a man who said, why should a movie ever have a story? Why should you ever really know what's going on? Why should you be able to understand the dialogue?
Let's all
talk
that's what I like about
over
it.
each other, much like our podcast.
Yeah,
we're very Altman-esque.
I was going to add, that was my first question I was going to ask you is, have you watched any of it with headphones on? or at least cranked the sound, because there are multiple times in Altman movies, and I think it takes a little bit of marijuana when you smoke pot and you sort of forget like what you're supposed to be focused on in a movie. That's how I feel when I watch Altman movies. Is that I'm like, am I supposed to be following that guy who's yelling, or am I supposed to be following the dialogue with these two guys?
Sure.
And I really.
He loved weed. That's a little something about Robert Altman.
Did he love weed?
He loved weed. He was a part of Normal. He was all about it. He, I think, had some really awful relationships with women, which is probably better left unchecked. But
smoke some more weed.
Absolutely,
chill out, buddy.
Could have been. Well, he was born in like the 20s.
Oh,
it's like a very old man.
Yeah.
But yeah, having a great time. I love a commentary. I like, this is just more of a side note, but I love director's commentaries, which could also be a thing.
Yeah.
And I was watching the director's commentary to Godfather 2 the other day with Coppola. First of all, the first Godfather commentary is awesome because it's just Coppola talking about how they thought this was a dumb idea. It was brilliant. They told me not to have this person. It was right. But at one point during the Godfather 2 commentary, he just goes, you know, as I'm watching it now, I'm starting to realize it was pretty ambitious to have these two storylines kind of intersecting.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm starting to realize, turns out I'm pretty great.
I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't think this would work. Yeah, they didn't want Pacino.
Didn't want Pacino.
Michael was not giving enough. Speaking of Michaels.
Sure. Didn't want Pacino. Didn't want, there was a lot of issues. And then obviously Robert Evans was taking a lot of credit for things. You can find all that out on the truly awful Paramount Plus show. Take the Cannoli, I think it was called, or The Deal.
I like that he said that Coppola couldn't fucking edit a movie to save his life. And you're just like, no, he's just coke-addled. He's drunk with Jack Nicholson, and Robert Evans just screaming like,
well, that's
edit this better.
When you actually, because most of us discovered Robert Evans through the Patton Oswalt bit,
yes,
which is an iconic, awesome piece of stand-up. But and then the bit is about how the book is just about how Robert Evans is just doing all these graphic sex things with all these and doing all these drugs.
Memoirs.
Yes, but then when you read the book, it's actually just him going, A, yeah, I'm really hot. And then B, like, yeah, everything good that happened to the movies was my idea.
And the only reason he's in movies is because he was just like lounging by a pool, and they're like, this guy. Discovered a hot guy.
Discovered a guy. You know what I mean? You hear the stories about a woman at the mall, but this guy was so hot. This is a guy who got discovered.
Yep.
You don't see, Channing Tatum didn't get picked up at a bus stop. He had to take Stanislavski. But you know who didn't have to take Stanislavski? Or maybe he did. I don't know. I don't know how he got the impression down. But is our guest, the very talented J.L. Cauvin. Well, that's one of the biggest things to me is that just people are living too long, and they got too much energy.
Yeah, I used to get married, and it was only 30 years, and then you drop dead.
That's when it was perfect.
That's the old comedy bit now. Remember when monogamy was easier because you only had to be with the person for 15 years, and then you died at 45?
Just look at my notebook, man. That's that's right in there.
That's why my wife listens to the podcast, is for moments like that. She loves it.
Did she listen?
No,
my girlfriend doesn't, which...
I don't care.
It would be weird if they did, I think.
I wouldn't want it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want her. I don't like when she listens to me speaking to her.
Sure.
I like when she's just like, oh, I missed all of that. And I'm like, good. I was going to write it down and throw it in a fire anyway.
Sure.
So.
Well, I remember when I was talking about my girlfriend's reaction to my Trump stuff, and you were feeling very seen.
Yes, I was.
And to me, it's like I did a test on my podcast. I had gotten my girlfriend Lady Gaga tickets at the Garden for her birthday.
Yeah,
so 2 weeks before her birthday, I just said it on my podcast. I said, this is a test. If she's still surprised on her birthday, she doesn't listen to my work.
Yeah.
And she was surprised.
Hell yeah. Well, I love that. Yes. The context was that someone asked us on a podcast, do your significant others appreciate your impressions of the president and vice president? And we were both like cackling. like my wife's so sick of like I gotta go in here and I gotta put on this makeup. I'm still very jealous that you just put on a hat.
If I had done the impression for that magical March 2020 video that went mega viral, if I had put on a wig and a tie, then I would have to do that every time. And I would probably have 70% fewer videos. Instead, they loved it with me just in a hat. And I said, well, that's what you're going to get.
Golden. I think I have a sty coming in from the eyeliner. And that's if that happens, I'll quit.
Well, when it
comedy,
when it first started, I was gonna write a very rare tweet about how just now every comedian I know with a beard is doing JD Vance.
Yep.
And then I realized I just happen to know the only two guys who are doing JD
you just
Vance.
Knew two.
Yeah,
we'll have him on here.
I only know the one.
That's right.
Respect.
There can be only one. And then I decapitate all the, you know how political violence is a fun subject right now?
Sure.
I wanted Trump, this is a weird thing to say, when there were rumors that, let me rephrase this in a lawyerly way, when there were rumors that Trump was deceased, you know, I feel like we really could have had a nice succession of power on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what, right. Yeah, I was texting you that I could come in. For those listening, if we actually have this as part of the podcast, JL does an impression of Trump and has a weekly podcast called Making Podcasts Great Again with Jay Nog, our friend. And I said, if Trump dies, it will just for like the first 5 minutes, it should be JD being like, I'm so happy.
I would literally be like, would you like to take over now? And I'll show up as like a ghost every 2 months.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
I don't even want to do it for that. I would just think it would be funny to treat Jay with respect, finally. That Jay, like I know his name. And I go, Jay, it's so good to see you, Jay. Because that's what JD Vance does.
7 years, I haven't learned I call him this is from episode 1 when I was just grasping for things to be funny. I said, well, you're the tech stuff guy. You do the tech. So we'll call you tech stuff guy. And for like years, he was just like, it's Jay Nog. And I'd be like, it's Fred Robb. He's a good guy. He knows what he's doing.
And I'm saying the opposite end is JD would just be smarmy. And he'd be like, Jay Nog, I love you, Jay Nog. It just turns into a robot.
Well, let me ask you this, JL.
Yeah.
You're here. We're having fun.
Yeah.
Do you generally consider yourself to be an obsessive person? You're somebody who goes through a lot of things you're into through your life, your youth.
I'm a list making type of person. I have been for a very long time. Obsessive. I don't know if I would call myself obsessive, but I have in later years become somewhat anxious over things. Like I'll just give you an example. I had to fly for the first time in 7 years. I take the train everywhere, but I had a gig in Chicago that was a very good paying gig. Said, I guess I'll fly. Yeah. I'll sell out my fears for a good gig.
And I imagine you're the only person who has to buy 2 seats, but it's the one in front of you.
Exactly. Although I'm getting to the side seat. I'm going to do a 3-seater soon. But I was anxious about that flight for 2 weeks leading up to it.
Wow.
And then as soon as I got home, you know, I felt like, successful trip. The flights were great, like super smooth. And then I realized I had to be in court for my day job for the first time in 17 years. Different job, but now I'm going into court again. So I spent the next week feeling very anxious about that. Now, that's not something death in the air and doing a job for, you know, poor people possibly getting evicted from their homes. Yes. Important stuff, but unreasonably anxious about it.
Sure.
I feel like I now have this like floating anxiety that like I attach to things. It's not flying has always been something I don't like. And when I do it a lot, it goes away out of just like almost immersion. You're just like, well, my nervous system won't allow me to be dysfunctionally stressed all the time. But when you take 7 years in between flights, you have some buildup.
Yeah.
But now, like with the work thing, I've been nervous about work before, like the day of, like, okay, let me be, hopefully I'm fully prepared, etc. This was different. This was almost like, oh, I have excess anxiety now, so I got to find a new thing to hook it into.
Right.
Versus my work is making me super anxious. It's more like I have this floating anxiety. I'll do it. And then today, you know, now it's the state of our country. And I don't think that's not something to be not concerned about.
Sure.
Yeah,
Anxious is a little much. Concerned for sure, though.
That's why you buy a gun and you jump out of a plane sometime just for fun. You're like, oh, this is nothing.
Once every 6 years, I think, you know what, I'm going to go skydiving.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. And then 5 minutes go by and I remember who I am.
Yep.
And I'm just like, well, no, that's never going to happen.
I do that every time I get on a plane. I'm like, I bet if I jumped out.
You think about skydiving every time.
I think about skydiving because I'm like, maybe if just that, or if I think about getting my pilot's license, because then I'm like, maybe if I got my pilot's license, I'd know these things don't just magically fall out of the air.
Pilot's license is a much, as insane as this all sounds, skydiving, no. I don't think like I would land and go, oh, I'm cured. I'd be like, don't ever, I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, sure.
I'm so grateful to be on the ground, but none of that was like, wow.
Right.
But with a pilot's license, that's a control issue.
Right.
And there's an element of like, yeah, maybe if I was just in there doing it, and then I'm like, who am I?
Yeah.
Who do I think I am? Absolutely not. And then there's Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
That level of just, I'll hang on the outside of a plane for multiple movies.
That guy can't wait to die, though. That's what's going on there, He's eager for it.
Yeah, he definitely is going to do something in space. I think he has plans to do something in space for a movie. And that's what he wants. He wants to float off to his Scientology planet.
Sure. Yeah.
And I
forgot about that.
I've always said to people, I go, you don't have to believe in Scientology. I don't. But I'd be hard pressed to convince Tom Cruise that he's wrong.
Sure.
Like, I'm aging wonderfully. I'm a beloved movie star despite legitimate controversies and possible real skeletons in my closet. I think I've chosen the right path. I think I am on the right path.
He's just so goddamn charming,
Yeah.
I couldn't skydive. My big fear would be because, you have to do the duel or the tandem.
Yeah.
So you're strapped to somebody.
So the homophobia kicks in and you're like, yeah, but I'm not gay.
He's not going.
No, it's not. I love to hug and
to embrace a man
and be close to men. It's the small talk.
Yeah,
once the parachute's open and you're just drifting, it's like, what the hell am I supposed to talk to this guy about? You do this often,
Now, there was a College Humor prank with Streeter where the pranks kept getting worse and worse. And they got to one where they knew these skydiving instructors and they're like, you're going to tell him in tandem that the parachute won't open and you guys are going to. And I was like, that is not a prank to make your friend shit his
Not
pants.
a goof.
It's not really a goof.
Yeah.
And then I started to think about it and I was like, they should be like nurses or doctors where like, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to like, fake. It's part of the Hippocratic Oath, but,
because what if you had a panic attack like in the air and you like separate yourself, like you're like, get off me, and then I was like, no, it's a joke.
I'm joking.
Oh no.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's so many ways that could go wrong.
That's when Tom Cruise died.
Yes.
He does the golden eye that Pierce Brosnan does, and he gets into the plane. He gets back into the plane.
I've never seen somebody react to GoldenEye.
It's no. And I'm gonna make my girlfriend listen to this episode.
Oh, good.
She won't listen to me, but she'll be like, are there other people on the show? Okay, fine. I'll listen to them. I tell her repeatedly how much I saw that with my father, a stern Haitian immigrant. I'm 16 when that movie comes out. He's early 60s. We go see GoldenEye. I was like, Dad, let's go to the movie. I want to see this movie GoldenEye. And I love that opening scene.
Yep.
Especially the synchronization of Tina Turner's theme song as the plane emerges. Boom, 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 boom. But my dad sitting there as
Pierce Brosnan.
Right, it was his first one, is like willing himself, but like luge, just pointing to catch up to the plane that's falling in a perfect line to get in the plane, and I gotta lift it up, and it works. And my dad just sits there, and when he sees the plane emerge, goes, oh, come on, in the theater. And of course, me at 16 is like, this is the best. And I was like, stop, Dad. Then I watched that movie like a year or two ago. And I literally was like, Oh, come on. Mine was more a Josh Lyman from the West Wing than, elder statesman of Haiti. But it was just the same kind of like, oh, yeah, now I get it. That's absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
You get to an age you can't handle the bullshit anymore.
Before we get to your actual topic that we came here to talk about today, when we were asking about obsessions, the thing I thought you were going to talk about was that you used to be like a very good movie reviewer. Like pre-Letterboxd days, I would look at your Rotten Tomatoes. This one gets a 2.5. And then you'd have like a really cogent argument for why it sucked. And then I'd be like, I get to skip this because JL set me right.
I did like, there was, I guess, movie-wise, I think what happens is for a long time, movies were just, this will sound, and I may be overanalyzing myself, but I feel like movies were a very peaceful time. Like my mom was a very volatile, angry woman. And it was like going to the movies on Saturdays was like peaceful. Sometimes she'd be like, you want to see another one? Like it was just chill. And I feel like even though I do love movies, I feel like that was probably embedded somewhere in me. And then it became a thing like, I also really like movie snacks. And I remember one time in my early 30s, I was like, do I even like movies?
I had this thought.
Or is it like comfort and snacks and coziness, which is all fine.
Sure.
This is why I still like the live movie. Like I still like the people are the reason I hate going to the movies now. Like turn off your phone.
Yeah.
Sure.
Stop talking and walk. You're at a movie. Like why are you here? And I don't mean that. I mean that genuinely. Why did you come to a movie?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, that's the funniest part is they pull out the phone and I'm like, you paid to look at big screen.
Right.
You're looking at small screen. And then I saw this woman when I was watching the Mission Impossible movie that was filmed in Italy. I think it's the 7th part 1 or whatever. I saw a girl open her phone and look at her friend's trip to Italy. And I was like, they shot it a little bit better. Just look up. Just look at it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's, but yeah, I think when The Dark Knight Rises, I remember it's just to bring up another gun incident.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Like I was looking for, I mean, I love The Dark Knight. I was like, 10:45 a.m. Friday show at Kips Bay AMC.
Oh, yeah.
But when I woke up that morning, the big story is like mass murder at a showing of The Dark Knight Rises. And I remember feeling like, I was taking for granted that movies were like this psychologically cozy place for me, whether it's childhood, snacks, big seats, whatever the reason.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember being in the theater that time, and I put it was crowded, obviously, because it was going to be a big hit. And I put, not my coat, but I put like something down on a seat and went out to get snacks. And then I come back in, and a woman had like moved my coat to another row.
Dear God.
And I remember just being like, in normal times, I'd be like, what are you doing? Move your, like, I'm sorry that your kids are here. Like, you moved my stuff. You don't, like, I had the seat. And I just thought, I don't want to create tension right now because somebody just murdered a bunch of people at a Dark Knight Rise. So I was like, I'll just sit over here. It's fine.
And then you became the Joker.
Yeah. No, I became Bane. I was big. I was jacked. Your kids switched into these seats. I was born in it.
From the darkness of this movie.
But they hadn't seen the movie yet, so they didn't get the voice. They were confused. Now,
or as the voice was in the trailer, man, did they have to I remember seeing the trailer.
Oh, I don't remember this.
Oh, I saw the trailer for The Dark Knight Rises and I was like, oh. And then all of a sudden Tom Hardy shows up as Bane and he's like, I was like, I don't know if this is going to be good if that's the audio.
I heard a little bit of Sandler in there.
If that came out in the 90s, that Sandler Bane, oh my God, how good would that have been?
Sandler Bane. That is a prep school kid if I've ever heard one. I'm Sandler Bane.
We're going to Sandler Bane's house. We're going to have a kegger, man. I know his dad is a senator or whatever. We're going to ruin his career.
Now, we could talk about how we'll never feel safe again all night. And we will and we will. But what we're here to talk, and that's what I'm interested in, is, JL, you're here to talk about hockey.
Yeah.
Now, is hockey, this is what I'm thinking. Is hockey a new obsession? Because as an East Coast guy,
yes,
I would think you would have grown up loving the puck. But that's not the case.
The only puck I loved was on The Real World.
The
Absolutely.
only puck I loved is in Midsummer Night's Dream. Thank you.
My dad
Dumbest
fucking.
answers.
My dad loved Real World Puck. Just as a side note, my dad couldn't get
As
enough
long
of
as
Real World Puck.
Puck is in this house, I cannot live in this house. R.I.P. Pedro Zamora.
Thank you for telling us who that was.
That is a good, I'm telling you right now, that's a good Pedro Zamora impression.
I believe you. It's a solid Zamora. I thought he was in the room. Of course, we lost him. I just learned, but I thought he was in the room. You know, we miss Pedro.
Yeah. But I was always I liked growing up. I was soccer. I wasn't allowed to play football, and I was a tall, skinny kid. I wasn't really looking to be like a like some.
Why weren't you allowed?
I wasn't allowed, but I wasn't actually really interested either.
Oh, okay,
It was very convenient for me and my parents. Nice. It wasn't a fight. I just wasn't interested in being like, there's always that kid who's maturing a little faster, and he's probably like a foot shorter than me, but stronger and can't wait to shatter my thin legs.
Yeah.
So I played soccer, basketball, and baseball. And I eventually, by 9th grade, I was just basketball.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And so those conflict. Obviously, hockey and basketball are in the same season. I had an uncle who was a diehard Ranger fan, like humongous Ranger fan. So I was always like, oh, he's watching the Rangers. I guess I'll watch. And obviously 94 when the Rangers won, I was a little more invested, like a Fairweather fan, but more for my uncle still.
Sure.
But every time as an adult that I watched hockey, it would be like, oh, the Rangers are in the playoffs. Oh, I guess there's nothing else on. I'll try. Or the Olympic hockey. And I'd go, it's really awesome. The game, it is a great sport. And I go, I should watch this more. And then I never did. Mm-hmm. Until like a few years ago, I was having like a conversation. This happened with a previous relationship, and then we broke up before we could like go get a bunch of Ranger tickets. But my current lady, we said like 3 or 4 years ago, we were watching something on TV. It might have been a playoff game or something. Oh, we should watch. Why do this? And I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but I'm a huge Utah Jazz fan in basketball. We don't have to get into
when
that.
When did you get into the Jazz? We don't need
8 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been a long time. And the joke, but it's also a little true, is like Karl Malone and John Stockton were like, the biracial surrogate parents for me on the basketball court, but much more harmonious than what I grew up with. And the Jazz started tanking. They traded 2 players that I really liked, Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. Mm-hmm. And they represented this trend in the NBA, which is like, well, if you're 26 and we haven't won a title, it's just not going to happen. Mm-hmm. So it's time to rebuild and hope that somewhere in the next 5 years we draft, a top 5 NBA player. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. It's a ridiculous, gross, like thing that's going on in the NBA. And so I felt kind of abandoned by the Jazz, and they started tanking. They overachieved in their first tank year. So they started benching people and trading more people to try and tank. I was like, I need something else. I need to see some team that's actually competing.
I didn't realize that your loss was Cleveland's gain.
Donovan Mitchell.
Sure. Came to us, and that's my only...
Right. And I look and I go, oh, would it be so bad to be relevant and actually like have a real thought like we could win? You're not guaranteed, but if you're a Cleveland Cavs fan, you go into next season going, I'm not crazy for thinking we're in the mix. Mm-hmm. And the Jazz are like, no, we don't want to be in the mix. And the one year we were going to make the playoffs when we thought we were tanking, we tanked more. We traded more people mid-season to make sure we stunk more.
You know why? It's because in Jazz, it's about the titles you don't win.
Yeah. Thank you. Very good.
That deserves more laughs. I hope at home people laugh.
I'm going to make sure
that is like
your
one
mics
of
are
my
silenced for it.
That's one of my least favorite things in sports right now, and it's among fans too, is the concept that either your team is one of the 2 best teams in the league, or you're a piece of shit that needs to tear everything down. Mm-hmm. There's nothing, competing is good, and it's fun to watch a team try. Right. And the whole tanking, that's all across all sports, but basketball maybe even more so because one guy can do so much. But there's nothing wrong with being a pretty good team, and then maybe every 5 or 6 years you're a really good team.
Right. And it's the difference between earning a promotion at work and winning a low tier lottery. I don't want to say because obviously Powerball, that's like drafting LeBron James. You're like, nope, I would do it for that.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But people have like, I would love to ask Knick fans, it's like, would you trade 16 seasons of Patrick Ewing for like a title with a random player that played there for 2 years? Like, how do we not understand the attachment is part, like the Dirk Nowitzki title in Dallas is the ultimate example of they stuck with him in today's NBA. Look what they did. They traded Luka Doncic at 26 because they felt like it's just not going to work. Well, they stuck with Dirk Nowitzki and it worked. And it's one of the last amazing, beautiful titles in the NBA because he was homegrown. They didn't give up on him. They didn't build 10 superstars around him. They built a framework around him with talent, veterans, and some positional people. But anyway, the Jazz sort of broke my heart because they never won a title, but they always competed. They rebuilt fast because they're the only game in town. They're like, we can't suck. We have nothing. I mean, and no disrespect to Utah. As far as sports.
They got that Desiree bookstore.
Yeah.
Oldest bookstore in the country.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
They're drinking a lot of sodas. They're drinking a lot of dirty sodas. That's the thing that's going on in Utah. But sports-wise, not so much.
Right. Well, now they have a hockey team.
There's so much beautiful stuff to walk around. I'm just trying to compliment Utah, but
beautiful.
Utah is gorgeous.
Yes.
I would never go into an arena to see anything. I'd just be out there, doing my 127 hours, getting my arm stuck under that rock.
Should have won an Oscar. I'm Team James Franco here. I'm Team James Franco here.
Sure.
Anyway, I didn't mean to side.
No. So they always had an incentive to be like, we can't be irrelevant for too long because we are the sports entertainment in this state. And then all of a sudden they just were like, no, we're gonna do this method, and they've failed miserably. So very long way of saying, I was looking for some other sport to occupy me. And I said, this is a perfect opening to get into hockey. It's a local team, so we can watch all the games on TV. It's not like I had to get an extra package to watch the Jazz. And we went and I said, let's go to some games. I bought tickets to a few games. And it was and everybody always says this, it's a cliche, but hockey is a phenomenal sport live. And the Garden is really beautiful. In the lower portion, I've been up with the poor folk. It's a cattle call up there. But in the lower area where there's space to live and flaunt your wealth, it's awesome. And we've been missing hockey. Like it's become a little bit of an obsession. They made the Eastern Conference Finals in the first full season. We were like into it. And I was like, whoa. I was like, babe, do you want to get like I didn't know what to get my girlfriend for her birthday. And I said, well, we were talking about doing like a quarter season plan, which is 11 games. I said, I'll just get it for both of us. And that was like the last year I was like, I got plenty of money. This is never going to run out. And then I lose my job like a month later. And I'm like, good thing I got these super expensive Ranger tickets. Definitely couldn't use $7,000 right now. So, but we enjoyed it so much. But of course, last year they missed the playoffs. They had the best record in the league. Yeah. And I was like, let's invest. I literally bought as high as possible and the value plummeted. So this year I said, let's double up. We went for a half season plan. Now, I think they're going to make the playoffs this year. But the truth is, the great thing about getting into something, and I almost sound like one of these like middle-aged life coaches, but I was like, to get into something at like 43, 44, and be able to like, okay, I know vaguely the rules. I've played the hockey video games. I've watched, but to like really immerse and be like, oh, I could explain somebody the rules now. And being at the games, we miss going to the games. Like we like the atmosphere as far as the people sitting around us and the game, the fact that it feels like sort of an NYPD orgy is uncomfortable for us.
Sure. The vibes. Yeah. Sure.
And it's like Blue Lives Matter. What? You mean like the blue jerseys of the Rangers? No. And
the worst part of an NYPD orgy is you see Sipowicz's butt. That's a big pull from NYPD Blue. Thank you. Just thought I'd throw it in there.
But there is also, it's very difficult not to see, like I've been to several hockey arenas now and I'll watch games on TV.
Yeah.
And I'll hear plenty of rap because rap, not like modern, but like 90s, 2000s rap is pop culture canon at this point. Like it's just part of the culture. It's not like, what's up with all the black stuff? What, you mean like Snoop and DMX? It's pretty... Yeah.
Snoop shows up at hockey games.
Yeah. Well, no, but Snoop is actually now probably walking around going, Blue Lives Matter. You mean Crips? No, I mean the cops.
Yes, sure.
I am down with Trump now. I DJ at his parties. Wow. 187 on your integrity.
Got him.
The nine, I shouldn't say the one thing I've been saying, the 900th thing, and then I'm done, is hearing no rap played in Madison Square Garden.
Right.
Where it's like at all these other arenas. And I go, well, New York's the birthplace of hip hop. I heard there was one rap song that I heard. I remember I was sitting at a game with my girlfriend. I go, this feels more racist than no rap. House of Pain, Jump Around. I was like, that actually feels more racist than if you just were like, no, our fans are into rock and stuff. Okay, fine. The players are into, but to be like, we'll allow one rap song through the filter.
Yeah,
now the difference between that and you go to the Brooklyn Nets game that we went to, the halftime show was just girls dancing to the exact set that Kendrick did at the Super Bowl halftime show.
Okay.
And I was like, hell yeah. Because they were high schoolers. And they were like, we'll just dance to this. The exact track listing, like, as he did it. And I was like...
Now, I loved, because I went through, in 2017, I went through a hockey... I would say a renaissance. I don't know if that's the right term.
Okay.
But a phase. I was living in LA... And I started to get into it, and I had lived in New York, and I was living in LA.
Kings were just coming off of some championships.
Kings were, but I became a Rangers fan because I love New York, and I wanted to have. I never got to root for a New York team. You know, I'm from Louisiana, so and that year they made the playoffs, and they lost to the Senators in the second round, the Ottawa Senators. But I loved being able to go, because you used to be able to go to Islanders games at Barclays for like $4. Because the players didn't want to be there.
Right.
The fans, and it would mostly be Rangers fans in there. Like there were like 6 Islanders fans. And it is, I mean, obviously it is the most fun sport to watch. And it is like, I have a vague concept of what's going on. It's harder for me because I don't have MSG, so it's hard for me to really follow it now. But you feel like you have you know what's going on most of the time.
Yeah, and it really was kind of it was like Rosetta Stone hockey, or you're going to immerse yourself. And I was like, offsides took me a few games because I was like, I always turned it off on the video games. I'm like,
icing.
Remember
what icing is?
Icing.
Is icing like offsides?
Icing is like if you pass the puck beyond too many lines without a player there. And I know I'm not technically defining it, but I know it like pornography. I know it when I see it. But it's offsides. I figured out, and we just kind of watched, and it was fun to like, as simple as it was, as trivial as it is, to be like learning something new, to have something completely new. Oh, like we now know, like because the Florida Panthers have won back-to-back championships. So I'm like, that's the team I'm second most familiar with because I've seen them play so many games that I'm like, oh yeah, that's a Florida Panther. But I like, there's a whole league and there's new stars and there's new, so it's like, it's very, it sounds a little cheesy, but to have something new that's fun that we can do together and that's like learning, like a new thing, you know. Whereas like basketball, there's nothing new for me to learn about basketball, except that my team doesn't want to win.
Your team hates you.
Yeah.
It is, and it's also international in a way that American sports normally
I
aren't.
won't buy, even though they have some really top tier. I'm glad I didn't buy a Russian player jersey. I just felt very pro-Ukraine in that way.
Absolutely.
And their goalie is like one of their best, if not their best player, Shesterkin. But the player I did buy, I thought it was a safe jersey pick. I bought a Chris Kreider jersey last year. That was my jersey pick. And I said he's a 13-year vet with the team. I like his style. I like the way he plays. Traded 1 season,
Jeez.
and he was traded.
Yeah.
But that's what's cool about what you're saying, and like if anyone's trying to get into the sport, is that it's about the personalities, even though, you know, they're wearing headgear and stuff.
For my money, by the way, aside from the teeth, perhaps the hottest athletes.
Well, that's what I wondered if
it's
the ladies-
cardiovascular and muscle.
Yeah,
Both.
and they like to beat the shit out of
A
each
lot
other.
of them look, here's the truth. You see a lot of these hockey players, a lot of them look like they front rock bands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
there is actually I once said, are hockey like, is it like, am I ignoring other factors? Like, well, for all the equipment and travel, it may be, tends to be more affluent people.
I think it is more affluent
right
people.
Where it's like, oh, okay, so that's part of it. It's not just like I'm a good looking white guy, I must like hockey. I feel like it's probably like a little bit of like, you come from, you know, your dad was an athlete and he got a hot woman and they have money, and you know that's what you birth. I don't
know if it's the same amount of equipment, but I live somewhere where they have the greatest lacrosse team. And when I look around the neighborhood, I'm like, yeah, I see it. I'm seeing it.
It's a middle school team, right?
It's a middle school. They're all, I get my paper out and I read about how the middle school lacrosse team is doing. That's the life I'm leading.
Now, I went, which I would highly recommend if anybody's in Iowa anytime soon. I went to an independent hockey game in Iowa in like
rules.
a barn.
Yeah.
No rules, just right. Outback. Yeah.
No holds bars.
That's why I'm the host, you know, co-host. There's a man. I did see a man with a fingernail about 6 inches long stab at a chicken tender, like he was trying to kill it. He was like trying to like rip it. He was a farm man. And it was one of the more disturbing images in my life. But I also saw, because we were very close.
Is he at all the games?
Oh, I can only imagine he probably lives there. I would assume. But we were sitting very close. And one of the best things, and I'll never forget this too, is that there were 2 guys in the penalty box, adjoining boxes. And one guy gestures over to the other guy and he goes basically like, hey, when we get out, do you want to fight? Which I never seen that. Would you be interested in a fight?
Consent.
And then asking for consent first. And then the guy said, no, thank you. And then that guy called him a homophobic slur. And then they got out and didn't fight. Went about their business.
Nice.
Kept the game going. Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
I like that.
Yeah, it's hot. My beef with hockey, you know, and I've told a buddy of mine, I'm like, you know, one of my dream jobs now that comedy has not panned out is
come on, the back half. Come on.
What about our show that you just did?
Yeah,
That didn't bring
I
you back?
enjoyed it. I do a good job of pretending like I don't enjoy.
Sure.
I'm very convincing. Well, I told a buddy of mine, I'm like, if I could have like a job in hockey, I would want to be, you know, VP in charge of reaching casual fans.
Yeah.
Because I feel like hockey has this kind of insular, we like being real hockey fans and we're dedicated to it. It's like, yeah, but you know who makes all the money for a sport? It's the casual fans, the ones who go, I'm going to go get a jersey. I'm going to buy the video game. I'll go to a game once in a while. It's not 10,000 season ticket holders. It's 2 million people getting into it just like once in a while. And I feel like they've created this kind of cult, like, at least at Ranger games, but it feels very like, this is our thing. And, you know, when I was growing up, I could name you 20 hockey players without watching a game because the video games were huge. They were in commercials. They were on magazine covers. And now it feels like this, like, secret society. It's like, you know, these guys, they love, and there's always that quasi-racial it always feels like a racial comparison because they never go after the NFL or baseball. There's like, the NBA guys make all this money. Well, so do football players, so do baseball players.
Yeah, sure.
And baseball players are certainly putting their bodies on the line the least of most of these athletes. But you always go after basketball. And there's this weird, twisted pride of like, yeah, the highest paid guy in the NHL would be like, you know, the 110th highest paid basketball player.
Right.
And that should make you mad, not be a point of pride. You should be like, how do we grow this? Connor McDavid, widely considered the best player in the NHL and probably like a top 10 talent ever. No charisma. I watched like a NHL documentary. Guy's got nothing. He's got incredible talent and skills though. So you give him a commercial like a Tiger Woods, like that famous Tiger Woods commercial. Tiger Woods also not a charismatic presence.
But he fucks.
Yes.
And we like that about him.
Hello, would you like to come to my car? But he did that golf commercial where they played to his strengths,
I love that ad.
which were his insane golf skills. Give me something like that for Connor McDavid. Make him a silent dude who just hits targets in a goal. Skates
Make
like
him do TikToks.
Yeah.
Make him do a dance.
Yeah.
They got the body.
right.
Do the dance.
They got no rhythm. I mean, you're absolutely every hockey interview is like, oh, we want to hit the
But
puck
it
hard.
feels like forced.
It
feels like they're like, we're going to be extra humble. And I'm going, would your wife prefer it if you made $24 million a year instead of 12?
Yeah.
Right.
Ask her, and all you have to do is a few more commercials and not sound lobotomized when you do an interview.
Yeah. You know what they got to do is reboot the Mighty Ducks. And then you get the Mighty Ducks back in there. I had a hockey face because I saw the Mighty Ducks. I was 32. I want to get this off my chest.
But you're bringing up a good point, which is like, there's nothing wrong with putting your sport more into the culture.
Absolutely.
Like, that's not selling out. It's like, don't you want more fan? Like, it's not a secret society.
Right. You can do a Wicked ad, like for the movie Wicked, but it's for Alexis or like for Wendy's. Have you seen those? You're watching like an ad and you think you're just watching an ad for the Wizard of Oz world. And then they're like, and we got salads at Wendy's now. And I'm like, okay. So that's how big Wicked is. It's merging into other ads. So they should do that with hockey.
So just have somebody shoot a puck right at the Wicked Witch of the West.
And just be like, Islanders.
Well, it's very Canadian too, right? That's how I feel like a lot of that, like
true.
We're proud to be poor. I mean, they're not poor, of course, they're millionaires, but like good for us for not being that famous or successful.
Yeah.
And they had a very good like, it's so odd to me because I am in the middle where I go, I understand as a comedian, as seeing all the things, as seeing so many artists now just become algorithms merchants, where it's like, is this even art anymore? Or are you just looking to like, is the whole game clicks? And with hockey, I can appreciate wanting things to be old fashioned or like about the game. And okay, great. Do you think Wayne Gretzky wasn't about the game? Sure. He was in lots of ads.
Right.
Yeah.
He was promoting the sport.
Yeah.
Does anybody doubt that he was not committed to hockey? Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying is that there's got to be a middle ground where it's like, hey, let's welcome to the 21st century. Keep your hard work, keep the spirit of the sport the same, but let's grow it. Let's get involved in the culture a little bit. It's just there's this odd pride, you know, or is it sour grapes masquerading as pride?
Could be like, a little bit, yeah.
Well, hey, we don't make enough. We're not making as much money as, you know, some of these other guys, but you know, we're just about the sport and the love of the game, and like we work hard, and you know, we're very humble, and we do. Okay, but what if you did these 2 ads? And you made double the money every year. Well, you know, that might be okay, but and the thing I brought up that I forgot to say is they had this one ad like 2 years ago, which was about tipping, and it was showing like all the goalies in the ad. It was all goalies, and they were like, everywhere you go, it's tipping, and it's them at like those iPad screens, but then it's showing clips of guys in front of the net, like a Chris Kreider doing like just a tip goal, you know, in misdirection. Right. And so it's funny and it's building. And then this guy, Brad Marchand, who's like a star player, he walks up to the board at the end of the commercial and leaves like 67% on his order. And he goes, what? I love tipping. And then it's a highlight of him tipping one in. Nice. And I was like, and that was it. But that was like their one commercial.
Yeah.
I was like, do more of that.
Yeah, sure.
We gotta get him a Capital One. You know what I mean? I used the Capital One business card to fix my teeth after I got into a fight.
Well, we'll workshop it, but I like that. I'm shocked too that in the landscape we live in now, that more of these dumb whites aren't getting into hockey. It seems like it's tailor made for them.
Great sport, great athletes.
Yeah,
white.
Yes.
Fighting.
Yes.
paced beautifully for an attention deficit disorder society.
Yes.
Now we're talking.
It is really like, and that's what makes it frustrating. I go, how are you not pushing this? How, like, this sport is like made for now. This should be the moment.
MMA and wrestling have like taken the.
Oh yeah, I mean MMA has to be, MMA and soccer. That's the divide.
Sure.
America is becoming a bunch of beta cuck lib soccer players, and if CTE isn't enough MAGA alpha male energy, MMA.
What you're saying is we need a hockey Ted Lasso. On
Sure.
Apple.
Oh, I'll be, hey guys, I just learned the sport 3 years ago, but I'm ready to coach.
But you would learn what offside means, unlike Ted.
You know what? Puck, you should probably cover your face. This thing's pretty hard.
It is. I remember when I got into hockey, I did feel a little weird because I watch basketball, but I've never been. When growing up, we got a team in New Orleans, but it was later, so it just was never really a team I liked. Reggie Miller, yada yada. So getting into it was a little odd to be like choosing hockey over basketball, just to be like, there's just something about it that connects with me more. I don't know, something about the look of it. I just like the ice, or whatever. It always felt a little weird, but it is, as you say, very fast paced. The runtime is definitely faster than an NFL game for the love of God, 2.5. And the only thing that kills me, and this is a weird pet peeve, but it's overtime hockey, which is awesome. Overtime playoff hockey is great, but it's the extra intermissions. And I know why they do it. You got to get that ice smooth.
Right.
But if there was one intermission, I feel it would be, I got to wait another time to sit and listen to Doc Emmerich, who's retired and probably dead.
When I was in second grade, I was a big beefy guy. I was a goalie in a floor hockey team, the YMCA. And I said that in class one day, and Mrs. Gallus, real name, said, "Oh my God, that's crazy that you can play hockey. You have to learn how to skate first." And I was like, yes. And I've lived obsessively anxiety in my brain of like one day she's going to find out I couldn't skate at all. You know what I mean?
That reminds me
very upset.
Of when I signed up as about an 8-year-old for violin lessons in school, and then discovered that I was supposed to have a violin, and it was very awkward. And then I left
you rent
the
one.
lesson.
Air violin.
Just teach me the.
Now, JL, we've kind of covered this, but if somebody is looking to get into hockey, what would be some recommendations you might have?
I would say if they're looking to get into hockey.
Aside from watch hockey, you dumb fuck, what else do you need?
Okay, that was 1 and 2 on my list.
Go live.
You go splurge on a game. Here's what I will say. Prudential Center is a dump, but it's cheaper. Like, in other words, the seats are the seats.
Mm-hmm.
Like the arena, like the concessions, all that, far inferior to MSG. But once you're in your seat, it's an arena. It's but you can go to a hockey game for cheaper, I think, in Jersey if you're a Jersey, New York person.
Mm-hmm.
But wherever you are, I think go to a live game. What we did the first year is we got like lower level seats, and we're like, well, let's make it we're only going to like 1 or 2 games this year. Let's make it like some good seats. And we loved it. It's a great sport to watch live. It's a lot of fun. I think I admire it also because there's so many skills at play that I don't possess. Can't skate. Never played hockey. When you see a guy like getting barreled into and he's skating and weaving around a guy and getting pushed or shoved or checked, and he's firing a goal in like a tiny square over the goalie's shoulder, you're like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So I think go live. I think it will make most people who, if you like sports, it will make most sports fans a fan if you go for a live game.
It's very stupid, but it took me about 4 months of watching hockey to really make the mental connection that they're skating while they're doing all this.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ. It is also, too, it's a fun, like you're saying, a new sport. You get to do a whole new thing to avoid your family and your wife and get into. You can listen to different podcasts. And all that. Yeah, it's a whole nother world, which I recommend.
Jasmine and Aladdin.
JL, where can we find you if we're looking for you when you're not at a hockey game?
Yes. Well, everything that I do, from videos to blog to podcast links, jlcomedy.com. And as far as 2 podcasts every week, Rain on Your Parade, Making Podcasts Great Again, you find the links there. And live shows coming up. I have a big show in Morristown, New Jersey. I have Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Huntington, New York in November.
Yep.
And then Toronto for some shows and Charlotte in December. So lots of stuff coming up. And if you don't find me at a hockey game or there, you can find me in the Bronx working for a nonprofit as a lawyer, keeping people from being evicted from their homes.
Oh, yeah.
What a great person I am.
Give this guy a hug in the Bronx.
A round of applause.
Leafs game? You going to go to a Leafs game?
They're not on the plan this year. I went and I was out of town when the Leafs played the Rangers last year.
Fair enough. Original 6, Dan. Original 6.
Yeah, they love talking
I don't know what that means.
They love, that's like another, I know you got to go, but that's like another classic. They're so old school. They love all that shit. Yeah.
And there are hockey fans who be like, who gives a shit?
But I will say that is also one of the reasons why I chose it, just because I never got the chance to root for like a big market.
Yeah.
We've been here. We have a real history kind of team. Like the Saints don't really, the Saints were just terrible for 40 years.
Right.
Thanks, man. This was great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you to JL Cauvin. Check out his podcast, Make Podcasts Great Again. It's a podcast about cooking. Dan, where can we find you on social media?
Podcasts again. You can find me at Dan Wilbur Comedy on Instagram and TikTok. You can find me at Dan Wilbur on Twitter or X or the Everything app. You know what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Elon's Place. I'm going to stop using it. Follow me anywhere else. And you can catch both of us, Zach and me, at Young Ethel's every single week, 7:30 p.m. on Wednesdays. And that's it. Don't look for me anywhere else, please.
Please don't come find me.
Please don't tell anyone how I live. Remember that Simpsons joke? Anyway.
You can find me at Zach Sims Comedy on TikTok, at also Zach Sims on Instagram, and on September 18th, I'm going to be doing a show in Staten Island. Do I know where it is? I don't. But just go to the island, go, Zach. And so an Italian man with very hairy arms will point you in the right direction. And until next week, see ya, hobbyholers!